Welcome to the SEGABits Swingin Report Show, episode 25, the incredible Christmas episode. And we're here gathered around the fire tonight. We have Sharky.
Hello.
George.
Hello.
And Kevin, a.k.a. AAUK.
Yes. Well done for saying that.
So that's the introductions. As you know, this is probably one of our last episodes of the year. So we're going to go out with a sizzle and talk about what's been going on. So first, let's go around and talk about what we've been up to and what we have been playing. First off, let's see what George has been up to.
Oh, me? Actually, I haven't been up. It's not a very good week. I didn't do much this week. I been trying to download Sonic CD, but I can't on the Android because I guess Sega thought it was going to sell like 5 copies or something. Nobody could download it anymore. So that kind of sucks. I wanted to talk about the portable version of the game. But like a couple of weeks ago, I went to take my brother to school, and I've noticed that like if you go to the rich neighborhoods and you actually wait for somebody, everybody just gets all creeped out. Like, what the hell is this guy doing? Like I was parked and I was waiting for him, and like some lady like parked and they saw that I was parked in front of her property, and she like drove away. And then later on came back with somebody else to like walk her to her house because she thought I was gonna rape her. That's what it seemed like.
Did you?
Yes, but like after the guy left, I waited.
Respect. They should wait till you do it before they start thinking you will do it.
I know. I don't like being judged like that.
Like you look at them and you say, "I'm not gonna rape her yet, so don't think."
Yeah,
he wasn't going to.
I wasn't gonna do it. I had to.
Peer pressure.
Yeah, now I had to do it. She was making a big deal out of it. But I've been trying to play Infamous. I only played a few. I've been playing it little by little, and it's pretty good. It's just the same old thing as the first one, though.
No.
And that's it.
Cool. Sharky, what have you been up to? What have you been playing?
I haven't really been playing anything, to be honest.
That's okay.
But let me think. Oh, I'll talk about the there was a Sonic CD art competition. Don't know if anyone knew about it.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Yeah, we talked about it last time because one of the other the guy from that does some animation for Sonic stuff on YouTube, won too.
Oh right. See, that shows you how much I listen to the podcast. But yeah, I entered, but I was doing a picture in Coral Painter, and it crashes like every 20 minutes. I got halfway through it and it crashed, so I sent it in anyway, and I won. So yay.
Who even? I hate Coral Painter. I used it when I was I had a college class of it, and it always just died.
Yeah, it crashes all the time.
Yep.
I don't know. Yeah, does the same thing to me. I don't know what the fuck. But yeah, I got halfway through my picture. I had barely done Sonic in it. I'd only had like a little template for the planet they go to, and it crashed. So I just sent that in, and it won.
You haven't moved to Mexico, have you, Sharky?
No, but those ones were pretty interesting.
Nice.
I did have a look at those.
You moved to Mexico, Sharky?
No. It's just that the Mexican entries were pretty rough. I don't think they can afford because it's not really an art competition. It's more like who's got the best art program competition, really. Because a lot of the winners have got like fancy Photoshop lines and ink work and stuff, and the people in Brazil and stuff, they don't have whatever computers.
One of the problems.
Are you saying that
the art contests is that unfortunately it tends to be the same people who win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's all these godlike artists out there, and whether or not some can't anymore, but you're always going to have people like NV16 winning, and T-Bird's always going to win, just because if he doesn't, he'll punch somebody in the face. And the main's going to win, and there's various other notables who will be there within the top 10 whatever, what have you. So it's good that they expanded it, and I think that the expansion did kind of cost them a little bit, especially when they started saying, "Oh yes, Mexico's going to be in," which was kind of a weird one. You would have thought
Yeah.
that Mexico would come under SOA, really, because it's sort of America's.
Yeah.
They should have had.
The some of the Mexican entries. I've just posted one in the chat for the guys, and the one that the Sonic Rex Twitter's been banging on about. It's just a series of geometric shapes, basically, intimating that the circle is Sonic.
It's
Is there like a red spring?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's the
there's some-
rectangle.
You
That was
posted
a
a
bloody good
picture of it in the chat. It looks like they took a photo of it too. They didn't actually scan it.
It didn't scan it, no.
They didn't have
And-
scanners in Mexico, dude. I've been there. No scanners.
Wow.
But yeah, that did win, guys. That was one of the winners for
That's
Mexico.
Need
a
to
winner.
move to Mexico.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone's now planning to move to Mexico so that they can win a SEGA competition.
If
Wow.
that's the winner, I want to see the losers. I think they should upload all the losers as well. That'd be
They should-
genius.
This is one of the things, isn't it? Because they presumably didn't have enough entries, otherwise that wouldn't have won.
Wow.
That is somebody taking the mick and has magically won a CD. Fun times.
Well, what if? Well, first off, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit further? Tell us what you did and do AAUK, and then you can do the what you've been up to and what you've been playing.
I'm Kevin Eva, also known as Archange UK or AAUK. I am the webmaster and have been since 2004 of Sonic Rex. From 2007 to about March of this year, I think it was, I was community manager at SEGA Europe.
Nice.
Hooray.
And Summer Sonic.
Yeah, I'm the other one behind Summer of Sonic.
You're on Wikipedia.
I am on Wikipedia. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you're famous now.
Yeah.
I am
Yeah,
famous.
but Wikipedia's always asking them for money. I bet now they're like, we need some donations.
Yeah. It's funny enough that somebody did an actual standalone page for me at one point, which was pretty freaky.
Wow.
Was it all detailed?
It was reasonably.
Did it get to personal life section?
Did they get your personal
Thankfully
life?
not. Thankfully not. But yeah, I found it odd that I was on. I had my own page on Wikipedia, and it took me about 6 years to get a couple of lines in the Sonic Retro Wiki. So
Wow.
Nice. Well, at least you got him.
yeah, I got it in the end. It was hard fought. Those 2 lines saying, please fill in information here.
So what have you been playing lately? I mean, and been doing this past week?
This past week, I've been ill, frankly, so I haven't really been doing much.
Oh, it sucks.
Yeah, it does suck, bro. I've had this sort of like cold cough that's just been lingering since the end of November, and it's none too pleasant. But otherwise, I've been playing a bit of Sonic Generations, enjoying that a lot. Otherwise, nothing else Sega-y, but I've been playing a lot of Assassin's Creed Revelations.
How do you like that game?
Nice. It annoys me a bit. There's a lot of little things in the actual story. I mean, I said to some friends of mine that if Ubisoft seemed to have gone out of its way to try and make an Assassin's Creed that I wouldn't like. And they came very close to succeeding, but I've been doing a lot of multiplayer at the moment. Apart from screaming at the screen a lot because I just can't get the stun to work.
Fun.
Yeah, all loads of fun.
I've only
cool.
played Brotherhood. I thought Brotherhood was pretty good. I mean, I like the last hour of Brotherhood. Like, I didn't like the whole story. I thought it was like kind of like a repeat of like part 2. You had to gather all these people again and do missions, and it just felt like you just needed the last 2 hours of the game to like. You don't need all the 8 hours of the storyline. It's just dragging on.
It is very much. Well, Revelations is pretty much Brotherhood Take Two, in that you do a lot of the stuff that you did in Brotherhood, but you do it again. Um, the main drive and for Revelations is the ending of the story and the ending of Ezio and Altair's role in the series, which is done very sympathetically. It's probably one of the nicest, although it's not. There's elements of it that aren't nice. It's one of the most sort of generous and carefully done writing out of the characters that I've actually seen in a game. So
Cool. And as for myself, I have been doing the usual stuff. I've been buying Christmas presents and getting ready. We're going to Florida for a week next week, so that'll be fun. And I've been playing Sonic CD on the 360 and on the iPod Touch. And
Nice.
yeah, I'm one of those losers who have an iPod Touch first gen model. And so every time I hear about some awesome game coming out, of course, it's not compatible with mine. So I was really worried when Sega started releasing games and I couldn't download them, like Brick People I can't play on my first gen, and something else.
Choo
but-
Choo Rocket Works?
Choo Choo Rocket Works and Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing, which was why I was pissed off about Brick People not working, because that thing's the most simple-looking game. It's little men walking on a static background, but I can't download it. So
Ooh,
when
can I interrupt there?
yeah,
I wrote the little thing for Brick People. You know that little bit of story at the start. There was
Yeah.
a competition for that. I wrote that as well. I'm just a winner. Right, you
What?
can carry on.
Sharky, what's the story then? Like two penis-shaped blocks. You're like terrorizing all the other blocks.
Yeah, that's exactly the
Because
story there.
I've seen your stories. They're really racy. I don't know. If
do you
Sega
do
would like-
fanfics?
So when you say you won it, but when it actually came to the game, was it mysteriously completely rewritten to be completely different to what you actually wrote it?
If I'm honest, I haven't even looked. I don't know. They just said it was in there. I was like, right. They give me £50 though.
Nice.
So
Nice.
win. Yeah.
Wow.
All
So
right,
yeah,
continue,
that's what I've
Barry.
been up to.
Sorry.
Well, that's all I've been up to, which kind of segs into our next topic. Sonic CD has been released on most platforms. What do you guys think about the engine and Tails? And is it worth it on smartphones?
You want me to start it?
Yeah, go for it.
I have nothing to say because I can't download the goddamn game. I haven't
nice
been able
one.
to download it on Android because I guess the servers are all clogged up. I guess too many people were trying to download, so they're not up. They said in 2 hours, like 3 hours ago, and it's still not working.
Did you rate it 1 star out of 5?
Yeah, I should joke with Sharky. I put a 1 star out of 5, and I put as a comment, no, it's not Shimu 3.
Yeah, they're gonna like that.
It's not though.
Yeah, that's what I said.
It's
It
true.
should be.
That is the.
In fact, you're technically true then.
It should be Shenmue 3DS.
I rated it after I was finished rating all of Sega's Facebook comments.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
People can't argue with that. That's the truth.
Barry,
That's a fair review, I think.
Barry, you played both versions, so you give your one take on it.
I think it's awesome. I mean, I never played the original game when it came out until about 98 or 99 when I got a used Sega CD. So before then, like in my child mind, I didn't know what the hell it was. I thought it was like a computer game. I'd see signs for it at the store, like Sonic CD on the Sega CD. And I thought it was like a special CD that you could put in your computer from Sega. But yeah, so I knew there was a comic book adaptation of the game. And once I got around to playing it, it was fun, but it was really short. And it wasn't until a few years later I found out that there was that whole time travel. I knew the time travel gimmick existed, but I didn't know that the game intended you to like search for things and destroy them. So now that I'm actually playing it, knowing everything about the game, it's a lot of fun, especially the portable version, just because you can. I seem to have more time on the train than I do on my couch, so I can actually sit there and play through a level for like 10 minutes and actually explore it. So
So is it actually does it actually feel like a retro title, or is it like another thing by Sega? They just add on the Sonic game because
Not, you mean, does it feel like a retro title on
yeah, like it does feel like the same engine from the Genesis titles.
It feels like a slightly improved version of Sonic CD in that there are less moments where I'm getting frustrated because things feel off from the Genesis games. But I mean, I guess that's kind of because it was basically another Sonic 2 when it was being developed. So, but now it actually feels like you're playing Sonic 2 in Sonic CD, especially with the altered spin dash and with Tails, who I haven't unlocked yet. But no, I think it's the best port that Sega has done of a Sonic game and of a game from the Genesis era.
Whoa. So, are you forgetting about Sonic on the Game Boy Advance? That was pretty good, right?
That was really good, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, that was. Gotta give props. That was a good 15th anniversary present.
Yeah, I bought 5 of them. I gave one to my grandma.
So, Kevin,
it was so successful it only came out in America.
Yeah,
Europe couldn't handle the awesomeness of it.
You guys,
Sonic's birthplace is America, right?
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, why not? Most popular in America. We didn't even get collector's edition for. Kevin, what do you think about Sonic CD? Or have you played enough of it to judge it?
I haven't got it yet.
Oh, you haven't got it yet?
No. I know. I'm terrible. Cast him out. No, I've not got it yet, and I may not.
Really?
Yeah, it's Sonic CD is not that important to me as a game. I've got to say, it's nice to see it actually come out. From a personal standpoint, it's good to see how Sega have come from the days of me having to explain to them at SOE what Sonic CD was, and then them not knowing that Sonic CD existed. There was this period. So there was, honest to goodness, there was this period where you could talk to people about Sega's history, and they knew of the Mega Drive or Genesis, and they knew the Dreamcast because that was the most recent one. But everything between then, Saturn, it was like, don't even start trying to explain about the Saturn to them.
They're all knights. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
that never existed.
Yeah, that was, trust me, that was fun when Journey of Dreams was coming out. So this was brand new game. Yeah, no, it's based on this previous one. It's like, oh, when was that? It came out on the Saturn. The what?
It sounds like this old British man sitting in a leather chair. The what?
Yes, I'll have you know that it was only the Mega Drive and that thing, the Dreamcast. Yes, and Shenmue on that. Yes.
Yes, this was a good game.
Yes.
That's the vice president.
Quite good. So yeah, it's good to see that, and obviously you've got the community involvement as well.
Did you play any part in it coming out at all?
At the very, 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 very beginning, I did.
What did you do?
I don't think it was. Well, I had to. Christian emailed me on the basis that he knew me from the community, and although I didn't know him very well, it's one of those ones where people know who you are and don't know who they are. But he asked me if I could, perhaps put a word in. And it was just about the time when the proof of concept video came out on YouTube. I don't know if you remember that.
I do, and
the first initial YouTube video.
Yeah.
Showing it working on an iPod.
Mm-hmm.
And that caused a lot of discussion about, well, what do we do here? So he asked me if I could, just put a word in and say, hi, this is the person, and they'd like to speak about potential things and how it goes on. There wasn't much I could do besides that, because obviously it would work on being a digital title, and all digital titles are SOAs and still are,
right?
Because that's part of their remit as a territory. But
It's kind of scary knowing that like SOA has all digital titles when like I think they're all kind of like drunk sometimes when they release stuff. Like they like
put it this way: when stuff comes out via Backbone, yeah,
like Backbone could do it, and they're like, no.
It's very notable. Let's rephrase it another way. It's very notable that Christian's the game that Christian's done has had the best response so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually,
you think this is a turn for better things, like maybe putting instead of trying to sue fans for making their own engines, they actually take them under their wing and hire them?
Well, that was it. That was what I was essentially asked to see if they'd be interested in doing. So I had to sort of go to Eagle and say, please don't.
Yeah.
please don't speak to this guy yet. He's quite happy to work with.
Right.
I sort of ordered it onto SOA with a sort of seal of approval, going, AUK says thumbs up.
We have that. There's that Streets of Rage.
I was
game.
Just about to mention that.
I was going to mention it too. I was just waiting.
Do you think that perhaps they're in talks to make Streets of Rage remake or sequel?
In that instance, probably not. I honestly don't think they are. I think one of the reasons why it's such a grey area. I mean, we could talk about this for a show in of itself, I think.
Oh yeah.
But the things with the fan games and it's the talks and how that evolves. I was actually involved in pretty much right up until I left, because it's how do you deal with it? Because Sega give a lot of leeway, and a lot more leeway than other companies do. Yeah. With fan games, and they give us as a community as well an awful lot of rope. They turn the blind eye to a hell of a lot of things, and it really is a case of if you start pulling on that thread with things, then the whole thing unravels. Because if you start saying, well, you can't do this, then it's like, oh well, that means that no one can have any of the music on their site, so no one can have any of the other files relating to Sega, so graphics and images, and then all those starts to disappear, and then you can't use Sonic, or you can't use the characters. Anyway, and then you've got to start paying royalties or something like that. So absolutely daft. But at the same time, so from Sega's point of view, you've got to protect the rights that you have, and you've got to protect your products. So what happened with you have to remind me if this is correct, but didn't they release it on the Streets of Rage 2 on the iPod? Did that come out like almost exactly the same time?
Yeah, it did actually.
It did, yeah.
Right. So you've got this situation, and the Sonic Fall situation completely exasperated this situation as to how Sega go about. Until my knowledge, they've not even come to a decision yet on how things are going to go, because this is so serious. I think they're just playing it by ear as situations come up. But from Sega's point of view, I would say it's at what point is the fan game start impacting the business? I.e., at what point do fans make a product which then goes against an official product, and the official product loses out, or it affects the profits and people buying the official product because they'd rather you do any fan product.
Yeah,
right.
But there's a problem with that too. They've been working on it for 7 years or some crazy amount of time, and then like Sega pulls it at the last minute, kind of makes them look like a bad guy. I don't think that was handled correctly, and I think they should have told them earlier in development that like, no, don't do this. Instead of like waiting for them to finish a 7-year project and then pulling it off the internet.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that I completely agree that it should have been handled better. It's one of those things that I don't think Sega know a lot about these sort of fan games until they appear, and a lot of fan games die before they reach release.
Yeah.
I just wonder if it had been released another time, if that had occurred, but I don't know. it's unfortunate that it was obviously such a massive project. Works along. It would have been nice if it could have been salvaged in some way from
Yeah.
say working with them, but I don't know. That's up to them. You mentioned what's the chances of them working with them? Have they said anything since then?
No.
No, they
Okay.
disappeared completely.
disappeared,
The
did
Bomber
they?
Games people seem to, yeah.
I don't think they're gonna work with Sega.
Well, let's put it this way: we've not heard anything else from them. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
not even a gripe.
No, I mean that's how Christian happened. I posted about him back in 2009. His video went down, and he was nowhere to be seen or heard from.
Well, I wouldn't put it past. If we've not heard anything, we've not seen anything, then that to me, I don't know anything about the Streets of Rage situation.
Yeah,
because I wasn't involved in that, and I don't know. But to me, as a fan on base and previous evidence, that indicates to me that there may be something going on then.
Yeah, could be.
If for them not to even do a blog post going screw Sega or what have you,
Yeah.
and to go completely silent for about what half a year now,
Yeah.
6 months.
Well, I assume they have. I mean, I haven't really been checking up, but I'm pretty sure they all just went down. Just like the link to download the game disappeared and
that
just
would
shut
have
up.
gone there. But if they've not said anything else, then
You never
Yeah.
know.
you never know.
Speaking of secret games, is that all we have to say about Sonic?
I don't think Sharky talked about Sonic CD.
It doesn't matter.
He doesn't matter. He already wrote an article on the site saying it's fucking good.
Yeah.
Why are you selling out, Sharky?
Yeah, come on.
You're supposed to be our negative person on the site.
To be honest, I don't actually like Sonic CD. I hate the
I know
game,
you don't.
But I was I was talking about the effort that was
port.
put into the engine.
Yeah, the effort. Yes.
Yeah. But
What do you
I
hate
hate
about
the
it?
game. It's rubbish.
What do you hate
Everything.
about it?
I hate that you have to. I hate going through those stupid. You can't get momentum. You always have to go through. You're running through like a past or present, and you want to go into the past, but accidentally hit a present, and then you go flying off into the future.
Yeah.
Just like my life.
Sharky doesn't disappoint with his negative attitude.
And I
Sharky is actually Sam Beckett from Quantum Leap.
I'm saying I'm the guy with the
You're
little
Al.
pad. I don't know, he's tapping at it. No, I kind of agree. Sonic CD, once I finally played it, I was kind of let down that it wasn't just another Sonic Genesis game. It actually required you to spend times exploring the levels and to really get everything out of it. I think the special stages are some of the weakest in the series.
Yeah.
But I think it has one of the best villains with Metal Sonic. Has some of the best music, especially when it has two soundtracks. And with this release, you can actually pick which one, which is awesome. And I think the visuals are really cool because it's kind of the last time you got that Sonic 1 look. Sonic 2 kind of had one, but it wasn't the same. It was like, I can't really explain it, but you can kind of see that it lost those trippy patterns. And like if you go too far up, you actually see the sky, the ground in the sky, which is really bizarre. It's kind of like nights.
Is that supposed to be seeing the planet that you come from?
I don't know. It's some kind of halo effect where you're seeing the whole planet wrap around you or something. I don't know. But, I mean, I think the good outweighs the bad. However, when people call it the best Sonic game, I don't think that's true. I think Sonic 2 is the best Sonic game.
I would agree.
So
yeah, we can move on to the Sonic Episode 2.
Speaking of Sonic 2, let's move on to Sonic 4 Episode 2. South Korea rated it, and they teased that it would come out after Sonic CD. So do you think that it actually is ready to come out, and what do you want them to change in this title?
Who's developing the title?
It's co-developed by Dimps and Sonic Team, right?
Well, the first one was, but
do you know
I
anything?
assume.
Is it even going to be the same as the first? Hopefully it's not the same as the first one. Hopefully, it has new levels. Like I just felt like I was playing like a sampler and like with new physics of like older levels.
Well, the things we know for sure is that it's going to have new unique levels. At least that's what Sega of America said a while ago, and that it'll have Metal Sonic and that it'll have some kind of connection to Sonic CD, which people speculated in the latest trailer. At the end of the trailer, you see a different future sign, kind of in the the Sonic 4 style. So
What?
if you
I didn't
watch
see
if you watch the release trailer at the beginning, Sonic's running, he goes through that future sign. It's capital F, lowercase, rest of the letters. But when he goes past the sign the second time, it's all capital letters, and it's in that kind of like Illustrator drawing kind of style that Sonic 4
All right,
had.
that's the Sonic
Huh.
CD and the Sonic CD is that.
Didn't Sega release like a trailer that said that like the prequel to Sonic 4
Which,
and like
yeah,
everybody
which
was
is
giving them shit?
which is kind of funny because I think they should be saying that after Sonic 4 Episode 2 is out, because it's completely confusing when you go see where Sonic 4 Episode 1 began when it has no connection to Sonic CD. If anything, you should say see where, I don't know. I think it was kind of a stupid marketing decision.
Yeah.
I bet episode 2 will probably have some sort of connection with CD. Like the main villain will be Metal Sonic, and maybe there'll be some sort of future pasty things going on. I don't know.
And obviously Tails is going to be playable.
Yeah. But what
Yeah.
they could do is have like Metal Sonic after Sonic CD running past a future sign, and it has him jump from Sonic CD to Sonic 4.
Did Sonic 2 even do... I mean, Sonic Episode 1 even do that well?
Oh, it sold a lot. I think it sold
Yeah, it
that's
did.
what they said. I mean, aside from the fan community, I talked to any of my friends who aren't hardcore, like physics geeks, and they love the game.
I've just had a look at that sign. Actually, I think it's more of a Photoshop
Oh yeah,
as opposed to anything else. Because I think the original future sign, because it's like the letters go outside the boundaries of the box of the actual
Okay.
sign, and I just get a feeling that that might have been an issue for them when doing a video. You never know, but it just seems, because the sign looks like the actual sprite, the Sonic
Yeah,
CD sprite, and
that
it's
was
just
what I thought was weird.
I think they're doing, they might just like to make the text look clearer.
I mean,
Because obviously it's going to be, it's been grown out and stretched.
when the first
Yeah.
Sonic CD trailer came out, they had the Sonic 4 Sonic run past the past sign and become Sonic CD Sonic. So I'm wondering if the first Sonic 4 Episode 2 teaser will have Sonic CD Sonic running past the future sign from the last trailer, and he becomes Sonic 4 Episode 2. Eh?
That's pretty good. You
I
should
bet
work for
that's what
Sega marketing.
I bet they already did that. I bet that's the plan.
You're already drunk right now. You
They have
work
a
for
plan?
Sega America.
Oh, I don't think so.
I bet Kevin knows anyway. I bet Kevin knows everything. It's just not. It's why he's gone
He's
quiet.
silent. He's quiet. He's
Well,
Sonic?
there is one element that I know,
And
and
you
as a
can't
result,
say.
I can't. As a result, I can't tell you it. But there's an awful lot that I don't know,
Don't let
which
me
is
guess.
which is the majority.
You could just
All
say
I know
yes
is
or no.
that I'm very glad that there will be new levels in this game.
Uh-huh.
In episode 2, I'd hate to have to play episode 1 again as episode 2.
Well, there
Yeah.
you go.
Well, the
think
ones-
They're going to change number, and there's going to be new stuff.
Well, you say you can't say what you know, but could you say if it's development related or in-game related, if that makes sense? Is it like having to do with something that we'll find in the game or something that...
is
I remember.
Yes.
I will put it this way. I remember seeing the earliest build.
Okay.
Okay.
That's pretty cool. So it
In
actually
regards
exists.
to the levels, you would have thought, and this is merely speculation. You would have thought there might be more levels this time round.
that's good. Well,
Because
if it
no, this is only thinking out loud. Because I mean, assuming I don't think they're going to change the physics engine.
Okay.
Because then you got to go back and change everything about Sonic 1, because the whole point is that you go from 1 to 2, which you would hope that would be a connection there.
Yeah, I
Although
wonder
isn't the map? Isn't there the map on Sonic on episode 1? Wasn't
Yeah,
there a
I
map,
mean,
Yes.
as I remember rightly? So
that's what,
assumedly you'll go from episode 1 to episode 2. And then, but if you
I'm pretty
change
sure.
if you change all the physics, then you'll have to go and edit it all of episode 1 again.
well, that's something
Yeah.
I've wondered was that if like PSN and 360 games are able to connect or bridge that way, where you boot up episode 1 and episode 2 is playable once you shift to the right of the map, or
Maybe
if
there'll be like some sort of Sonic 4 framework, which then the episode 1 and episode 2 sort of slots into.
so you would basically download a Sonic 4
You'd
all-encompassing.
you'd download episode 2, and that with it would download it's like a Sonic 4 hub.
That would be, I mean, if they were to be able to make physics changes, I think it would make sense to have episode 2 include episode 1 as long as you own it, like you're saying, and then the physics changes would be possible.
Because if you change all the physics, you've got to then change all the all the gaps and things then don't work.
Yeah, they've done that before. One game on PSN, it was like some like crappy like movie game. I think it was like a kick-ass game. Like the game sucked really bad, so the developer went and like retooled everything, and it was like a huge update. You basically re-download the game again. It was like 1 gigabyte. So I don't think Sega's gonna go through the effort of doing that because
Plus, you got to remember, I think unless this changed, because Sony used to, I don't know if they still do, charge for the bandwidth, not the downloads.
it was like rumored to be like 15 cents a gigabyte. Now if you think about it,
So if you're gonna then have to do that, then that's and for every single person that bought it on PSN for Sonic 4 Episode 1, that's a hell of a big financial hit.
yep.
Yeah.
So,
And-
but my initial point was that if Sega then if Sega don't change the engine, then they don't have to spend the development time developing the engine.
Yeah.
So that's more time theoretically to make more levels.
That's true. I mean, the question is if they want to satisfy the Sonic Retro people in the world.
I think Sega.
Can you satisfy Sonic Retro people?
Sonic Retro, just the people. Those guys. I think every Sonic game, fan is in its own way like hard to please. It's such broad. It's like it's turned into the modern fans and those guys that like, the sexy Sonic.
Yeah.
And then you have like those people that are retro and they have to have physics exactly the same.
I mean,
And then
I say I'm in the camp that I put up with Sonic 4 Episode 1, and after the first stage, I start really enjoying it for what it is. Kind of like Knuckles Chaotix or Sonic CD, where there's minor differences and in some cases major differences, but once you start getting into the game itself, then you start to enjoy it for what exists. Because people give the game a lot of shit, but I think it actually functions very well for what it is. Like if you were to change the name to like Alex the Armadillo and change all the characters, it would be people would say it's a really fun game. But since it has that Sonic 4 attachment, people expect it to be a carbon copy of the first one, at least in terms of physics. And I don't think it needs to be a carbon copy, but I think it needs to be made a little bit better for episode 2, where at least when you jump in the air, you continue to move in that direction rather than... Because I was playing Casino Street last night after playing Sonic CD, and I hit a spring and I went around a loop, and if I took my thumb off the pad in a normal Sonic game, I'd hit the next spring, but instead I dropped straight down like a rock, which made absolutely no sense.
that was my biggest problem with it as well. It was just so strange.
Yeah.
How can I don't know, I'm surprised that they couldn't get the physics down for 4, but Sonic Generation's pretty alright. It wasn't perfect, but
I don't know.
it was close.
People are saying that Sonic Generations 3DS is a hint towards what we can see in Sonic 4 Episode 2, and if that's the case, people said it's an improvement. It's not perfect, but it's definitely much more playable and much closer to the Genesis games.
They
Yeah,
should also. Oh, go on.
I don't reckon that's true though. It looks the engine's completely different if you ask me.
Oh
It
yeah.
looks like the Genesis one looks like it's built on that Rush engine, but
Okay.
the Sonic 4 engine looks really a bit crap really. It
Yeah.
doesn't look the
Okay.
same to me.
Kevin,
I'm just guessing.
I was
But
gonna ask Kevin something. Kevin,
Mhm.
you think that Sonic Team is probably one of the hardest working developers in the industry? Like they release like a billion games like every year. Not all of them great.
I wouldn't say billion games, but I would certainly say
That's pretty close, right?
they're probably under the cosh. The actual people there are under the cosh the most
Yeah.
because those guys are absolutely work solidly. There is no gap ever
Yeah.
I've seen.
in development. I mean, are you guys? Any of you guys? I mean, the likes of June Sanue.
Hmm.
The
The
guy works so many hours. It's unreal.
I'll bet.
It's when he's you can just follow him on the Crash 40 Twitter. It's like it's 4 a.m. I'm home at last.
I mean, yeah, the man composes what, a soundtrack twice a year, maybe? Would you say?
Well, obviously sound director as well, so
That's true. Yeah.
there's more on top of that, but all
I
the
can't
original
imagine.
music, he's doing the Crash 40 stuff, doing all the contracts and things like that. June's practically SOJ community manager, I would say. He's very open, interactive. I mean, going and doing things like Sonic Boom and Summer of Sonic. That's like a holiday to him,
Wow.
despite the fact that it very much isn't. You know,
Yeah.
it's that SO. Despite what anyone else may think, and I'm sure a lot of people have opinions on Sonic Team, they work so hard.
I'll bet,
No,
especially with a
I
fan base like this.
Yeah, you could tell like they go from like I always see like a new Sonic Team game. Like how many games do they release a year? You think? Like this year was Sonic Generations, and it's like I guess don't they
There's
oversee every project anyway?
the Fantasy
They
Star
will oversee every
titles.
project, yeah.
And then they have like Fantasy Star Online 2 coming out, which is that's a different team. So, but
Yeah.
it's kind of like they're stretching themselves thin with all the projects.
It depends, because I mean, if you say that some ideas take around 3 years to gestate into a game from initial concept to publishing,
Hmm.
I mean, it's a bit of an odd situation at the moment because apart from Sonic 4 Episode 2, do we know of any other Sonic games that are coming out?
There's supposed to be a rumor there's coming one next year to launch. I mean, not to launch, but to
Oh, is
be
that
on
the
Wii U.
Dimensions rumor?
Yeah, but that's
yeah, that's not real though.
That's very very rumor, that isn't it?
Yeah,
But I
that's
think it's an
Tristan
unusual
rumor.
situation because we don't actually know of anyone yet.
Hmm.
It's kind of unusual. There's normally, I don't know. You seem to have like in the past there's one about to launch, one that's starting to build up to launch, and the one that's just been announced, and presumably one that's under development but isn't announced yet.
Yeah.
And that's just Sonic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And then
I mean, obviously, we're not taking into consideration any of the other stuff that Sonic Team are involved in. And
Yeah.
there's the really random odd games. Wasn't Rabbits, was that Sonic Team?
That
Yeah, I
was,
think so.
it was
Yeah.
United Game Artists, but when they merged the Sonic Team, it was like the first game.
Yeah.
Right.
But so they've got Sonic Team doing like the odd game. You've got Fantasy Star, like you said, and that must be a monstrous development. That
Oh God.
I mean, and that's a monstrous development just for Japan, because it's then got to come to the West, and it's got to come to the West. Let's face
It's
it.
better.
But you've got to, if you're going to set up for a global thing for them, that's going to be huge. And crikey, I mean, people say, why isn't it that not coming out immediately? Can you imagine the amount of translation that's got to be for that game?
Oh,
Yeah.
bet.
That's going to be huge, and especially if it's going to be likes of eFigs which again, presumably it's going to be. Wow.
Nice.
And so you got that, and then there's other little sort of pet projects that seem to materialize as well. So, yeah, they're pretty much under it. But who knows? I mean, one of the things that Sega said was that not that long ago, if I remember rightly, was that might see sort of less Sonic.
And that's a good thing, I think.
Yeah.
It's certainly something that needs to happen. In fact, it's something that I said needed to happen as well. Actually, It
Yeah.
needs to get stuff in order, release them less, more development time.
There's a reason why everybody online always says, "Oh, it's Sonic game." Well, fuck that crap. It's gonna be crap because Sonic is kind of. I mean, Sonic Team. I mean, Sega's was pretty slutty with the IP of Sonic. Like they would release crap and just because they made a quick buck.
And the problem is too that a lot of the good ones actually fall through the cracks. Like the All Stars games are actually really good, but people just think of them as shitty Sonic spin-offs and they avoid them.
Yeah, they always. I remember all the Mario Kart ripoffs. I thought it was better than Mario Kart, but
I did too.
what do I know?
I got quite a few people. Quite a few people did. I think it got some people worried. I think.
Yeah.
And surprised people. I think, but it's odd that when you say about the spin-offs, Sonic has a reputation, rightly or wrongly, for doing spin-offs wrong.
Yeah.
And anytime Sega does a spin-off with Sonic, and you got to do spin-offs. You got to put it's your flagship character. It's the thing that makes money. You got to push it into new avenues and see what happens. It's interesting that, ironically, Mario's done more spin-offs and put Mario in more different situations than way many more than Sega has with Sonic, and equally as shitty.
Yes.
And yet Mario seems to get a bit of a free pass on that.
I think it's because Mario Galaxy has been known. I mean, it's like a 10 out of 10 kind of game, like game of the year. And Sonic Team is like, hey, you guys like Sonic 06? Pretty good. You can play as Silver and you Hedgehog. And,
Well, I think Nintendo gets a bit of a free pass sometimes because
I think it's their fans.
I go back and I play. I was playing a Zelda game recently, and it's got lots of sort of stuff that I'd say anyone else put this out, and people would be like 7 out of 10, not that good.
It's
But
not
Nintendo puts
Skyrim.
it out. Yeah, exactly. It's nothing, nowhere near. It's nowhere near as good as these other games made by Western companies. It's pretty backwards.
I think
But they get 10 out of 10 from everyone, and Sega puts out Virtua Tennis 4, and you get the critics
6
going,
out of 10.
6 out of 10. They didn't do enough. It did everything a tennis game can do.
Yeah. Aside from
That's-
becoming a completely different game that no one would associate with Virtua Tennis, which is what it seems like people would want to do.
Kevin, did you do community work when Sega All Star Racing was?
I was community manager on that.
How much emails did you get a week saying, "Why is Sonic riding a car?" Because I got emails and I don't even work at Sega. Like I got it from like the website. They contacted and they're asking me, "Why is Sonic driving a car?"
Because I mean, part of the stuff is you do the Facebook and everything as well. Yeah. And I remember when that came out, there was an awful lot of comments on the blogs as well. But why is Sonic in a car? Because it's a car-based game.
And then like they always responded with like, "Sonic car, he's not riding a car," and I'm just like, "Are you serious?"
Well, my response was, why does Sonic need to be in a car? Because otherwise,
it wouldn't be fair.
Otherwise there wouldn't be much point. It's like, okay, we'll go back. Why don't you go back in time and complain to Sega about Sonic Drift?
Yeah. Well, they could have just added a little.
If you could put a racing game. It's like, well, it's a driving game.
All they got to do is in the manual say Eggman has put together a racing competition for everyone from the Segaverse, and the rule is you have to use your car. And then people would shut up. They go, "Oh, it's a rule." Well, yeah.
Can't wait to fucking write an exotic fanfic about this.
It's like with Sonic Riders, that gets a pass because the plot has them saying, "Oh, well, you need to use the boards. You can't run."
It's an actual sport, therefore it's. I
Oh
mean,
boy.
you can say that about a lot of things. It's like anytime Sonic's in anything, it's like, okay, why doesn't Sonic just go vroom? But you could also say that it's because Sonic wouldn't think that was fair.
That's well
Sonic
exactly.
himself wouldn't think it was fair.
The character's personality kind of goes with that fair teamwork,
Yeah.
stuff that kids like. Kids like teamwork.
That and that Hulk Hogan.
Plus there's the ego factor for Sonic as a character.
Yeah.
To actually know that even he's the fastest out of everyone, and he didn't even have to run.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit of a strange question anyway, because like, imagine if you were in like an egg and spoon race, and someone said, "Oh, but why? Why don't you just run?"
Because then you'd
It's the
lose.
same concept. It's like that's not. I mean, why don't you just put down this egg and spoon and run? It's the same concept. People are asking you like, well, because it's an egg and spoon race.
Well, isn't one of the NASCAR rules that a certain percentage of the car needs to cross the finish line in order to win?
I don't know.
Why use?
I don't watch NASCAR.
Actually, that's it's a similar rule in motor racing generally.
I was talking about Daytona USA. I'm not talking about NASCAR. Yeah. Well, anyway, let's move out of Sonic. We'll talk about him a little later. But let's talk about Crush 3D, Bound to Fail, like the first title. Big question mark.
Yeah, it's already failed.
It has failed.
I feel bad because I like the first title, so I was kind of angry, and like I think at the time when the first one came out, Chris wrote like a big angry letter to Sega, like in like, why don't you guys sponsor this instead of just putting on your website? Oh, it's already out. Like nobody's ever heard of the game, and like one day we just wake up and it's like on the website that it's already out.
Yeah,
and
I think. Well, has it released the 3DS version?
Oh, they delayed it for a year, but I think it's gonna fail anyway. Because I mean, I don't think Sega's gonna. Huh?
Is it not out? I thought it was out.
It was supposed to come out, but Sega delayed it or something. I think.
Probably a smart move.
Yeah, I think it's a smart move.
Well, Kevin, how would you push Crush 3D onto people who know nothing about it? If you had were tasked
I'd make it come out on Vita.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Finally.
And I'd make it. I'd make it come out on iOS devices.
Good idea.
Because the problem is that it's tied in with the 3DS. Is the big problem, and like it or not, the console isn't selling as well as people would have expected it to sell. Even if that's not necessarily true, I think there was a news story a while back that it actually sold more than the DS had at that equivalent point in time after release.
Right.
But whether or not there isn't that level of user confidence in people outside of the people who already own it. So you've got that situation that unfortunately it's sort of stuck with that console. Whereas actually broadening the amount of platforms that it would have been on would have been really nice. I think as an iOS title, it would have been absolutely stellar.
I think so too. Yeah.
It should have been on everything. It should have been on Xbox Live.
That was one of the ones that you really could get away with putting it on everything.
Mm-hmm.
You're also going, it's a PSP title that was very niche. They did exactly what they should have done, which is to go, yes, it is based on this previous title, and they did this on the first trade, and they look at all these wonderful quotes that people said about the original.
Yeah.
But they need to.
They need
to make it look more fun.
They need to release a shitload of videos showing off, like before the titles even show or anything. Immediately, they need to show that the ability, like what the game is all about. Because before I even watched a video of it, I thought it was like a guy in his like pajamas who was lost in like a cube land. And it wasn't until I actually found a video and watched it that I understood that there's a really cool 2D, 3D transition going on that isn't really given away in the art or in the title. Or, I mean, I get it now that you crush things, but I don't get that until you actually show a video. And so I think Sega should just like straight up start releasing gameplay videos that aren't trailers. So immediately as people click play, they get to see that cool bit happening, and then they'll completely understand what the entire game's about and want to get it.
I agree entirely.
I think it's going to fail because, let me just say real quick why, but because I think Kevin had it right. I think it should be a cheaper title, not a full $40 3DS game. Like, if I had $40, I'd buy Mario Kart 7 or like a big game.
Yeah.
You know? Instead of going and buying Crush 3D. That, you know, it's a puzzle game, but I could get a puzzle game on I get Choo Choo Rocket for like $1 on my Android phone.
Yeah.
So why would I want to buy one for $40?
I think being on the 3DS, they've got to sort of. There's not like Kevin said. There's not like a lot of people that have it, and you've got to go up against sort of like the big Nintendo titles as well, and it's not like a good place to launch. It's not a new IP, but it might as well be because no one bought it anyway. So it's not really a good place to launch a new puzzle game like that when you're not Nintendo.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you're right there actually, because you've got the Nintendo factor as well for Sega, i.e., doing new, or at least new to them, brands and franchises on a Nintendo platform.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's very, very hard. Sega are one of the few companies that actually can, turn a dime out of Nintendo. That's because the only people who really make money out of Nintendo consoles are Nintendo.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So for that, you want to, especially just, it's a franchise that exists, but not one that people are familiar with, and it's the Sega hardcore guys are going to buy it. If I get it for myself 3DS, I'm certainly getting myself Crush 3D.
Yeah.
But other people who aren't Sega fans, not really going to have any interest in it.
Yeah.
Mm.
I have to agree. I think sometimes I'm disappointed. I don't want to say that's negative because I think they do a great job when they do the great job. It's the community team sometimes won't cover some titles. Like I don't even know what title's coming out until and I cover Sega news, so I should know that a game's coming out. I remember Sands of Destruction. I was like, when's that coming out? And somebody's all, dude, it came out 4 months ago. I was like, what? And I looked it up and I guess Sega posted a launch trailer on their blog, but didn't I guess tweet about it or something.
That sucks.
In their defense, there's only so much time in the day to be able to spend on things, and for their time is always going to be geared towards AAA titles or AA's.
That's true.
I mean, I don't know where Sands doesn't even came out in Europe in the end. It just sort of disappeared.
Yeah, that title is probably not worth the release for Sega. They even delayed it a year or two because they were going to rework it, the way it plays.
Yeah.
To make it more friendly for Western consumers, but apparently it didn't even work.
So it's bound to fail. I think we all agree, right?
I think that the general consensus is bound to fail, and we're all very, very upset about it.
It's going to be one of those games 10 years from now. Everyone's going, God, that should have done better.
You're going to see it on the Facebook. You can see on Facebook 5 comments oh, where's the next Crush game? I don't care about this crap.
Where's Crush 3?
Yeah, where's Crush 3?
Where's Crush 3 3D?
Not 3D. 4D?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you'll find is that Crush 3DS will be to the Nintendo 3DS what Crush was to the PSP.
A failure.
One of those titles that appears on top 5 lists of games that you should check out, and you haven't done.
And you won't do it either.
And you won't do either, exactly. But we could be pleasantly surprised. But again, how much money's behind it?
Well, everyone should buy a copy. even if they don't have a 3DS. How's that sound?
No,
Because
because
it'll be worth a lot in time because it'll be very rare.
Yeah.
they're only going to ship like 2 units.
Yeah, basically.
Look at this. Sega's so teasing. My Sonic CD download went 41%, and it's just stopped because the server's down again.
Nice. Well,
That's what you get.
well, that downloads. It's not on our schedule, but I thought we should quickly talk about Rhythm Thief having Space Channel 5 and Samba de Amigo references in it. What do you guys think about that?
Man, screw your dancing games. I don't want to
Come on.
dance. Why would I want to dance? Why would I want to dance?
You're a
What
What are you
dancer.
worried about, George?
What am I worried about? I don't
What are you
want to
worried
dance and
about?
make a fool of myself.
Come on,
Have you
man.
seen how white? Have you seen how white George is? He's so white. He can't dance.
Yeah, I can't.
Is that a he's so
Afraid-
white joke? He's so white that he can't dance.
I think it was. I don't know. I'm too white to tell them.
I think it's pretty cool. I think that it's just gonna open up more. Wait, I just want the old games. You know, those retro people. I think Rhythm Thief looks great, and it looks like a great new IP. I think Sega did a good job with that. It reminds me of like something that would come out like on Dreamcast.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, Kevin was just saying that Sega are one of the only companies, or the few companies, that can sort of take a bit of money back from Nintendo's money pot. I think this one.
They're one. Yeah, they're one of them. Yeah.
I feel like this one might be one of them. It just seems like it looks a little bit like Professor Layton. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's actually I think that's deliberate.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In all honesty.
Didn't Nintendo release a rhythm game that had people with afros?
It was. Well, I don't know what that was called, but it looked really awesome. It was.
It was a pretty good cult hit for Nintendo fans.
Was that Elite Beat Agents? Was it that?
Yes, Elite Beat Agents.
Yeah, that's what kind of
Oh,
reminded me
far
of
tonight
like.
with these random things.
I think. Well, what happened?
I'm sorry, you're going. I was listening to you.
Oh, me?
Yeah, you thought you were going to talk.
Hey, what do you want to hear? No, I think it's great whenever they put references to old games in new games. It's the easiest thing for Sega to do, and I think it's the best thing for them to do to get people to want to buy a title. Because, I mean, you look at All Stars Racing, and that probably moved a good amount of copies just because Rio was in it. Or you look at Bayonetta, and as soon as people who were like, "Oh, it's just a Platinum Games title,"
She's a slut. I don't want to play this game.
Yeah, as soon as they saw all the AM2 references, they were like, "I got to get that."
Also,
I'd like to claim entire responsibility for the pushing of Rio to the moon in that game, by the way.
Was that you?
Yeah. Well,
Why didn't you put?
I pretty much stepped over a lot of lines and demanded the Rio trailer.
I would have stepped over those lines and demanded Fukusan to walk, like jogging or like. I mean, it's all pathetic.
Seriously, I pretty much put everything on the line and just went, look, do a trailer. You'll do a trailer with this character alone.
But
Yeah.
Kevin,
Make
did you
this
see the
happen,
video?
and you will see good things.
Did you see the video I made after the trailer came out, where it was Rio borrowing the bike in the within the game?
I did, yeah.
Did that get a lot of play? Because
I posted that around in fact.
yeah, Sega liked that, and they commented on the video, which was really rare for the Sega channel to comment on other videos.
Was that SOE or SOA's one?
SOA.
Yeah,
That was pretty cool. I want money now. No, but
I remember that on our blog, I think the opinions were kind of mixed, right, Ryan? Like some people thought it was an insult seeing him in a new game without part 3. I thought they were kind of crazy and kind of like. I think having them anywhere is a good thing because it makes the brand at least, not dead.
it was very much a case of it was very much a case of Rio of okay, prove that the demand is there, and of course what happened is that
Did they give you?
every website just went nuts.
Did they give you we can't have them because the art style doesn't match?
No, because that argument never came up.
Because I think we were talking to. I think we did an interview with like Steve from Sumo.
Steve Lightcut?
Yeah, and he said I think he said something that had to match art style, so it was kind of hard. And I think it was just an approval process for them.
Yeah.
To try to get what he wanted.
quite a few of those different game franchises, and certainly Dreamcast era, it gets a bit difficult to get hold of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There's a lot of different people involved. You know, the Sega studios are sort of split up and gone their own way, and there's a lot of people have moved on, but still have a say.
Yeah.
What?
So it gets a lot. You got to you got to make it balanced, and you've got to say, well, this character is going to be in there, and of course they'll want their character to look really good.
Why
Yeah,
was
I
there?
remember
Why was there so
seeing-
many Billy Hatcher stages? Like I don't understand
Yeah.
that. Like
What was that?
so many Billy Hatcher stuff. Like there was like 3 stages for Billy
Very,
Hatcher.
you know, well, the reasons why very easy to do because it's Sonic Team.
Okay.
Sonic Team's like, go ahead, and like the other ones you have to call.
And yet there wasn't a night stage, which would have made the craziest, trippiest racetracks where you could go upside
Don't
down
get all the Knights fans all like
and
excited.
drive on the ceiling. You could
Oh,
have done
you have
that.
no idea how much. Well, actually, me and I think Aaron as well. Were
Oh,
just,
yeah.
just going. But when I found out that Knights wasn't in,
Yeah.
I was as horrified as Digi and Trippy were.
That's
And
pretty bad.
I was playing. It's like because I was trying to explain to everyone at Sega. It's like, hey, Knights. Knights is like your secondary mascot.
Yeah.
Because like Knights is in every Sonic game that's a spin-off.
Yeah.
Knights has been in more Sonic games than most of the Sonic cast has.
Maybe that's why they didn't put him on there. Maybe because he was just
He's
he's been around too much.
No, it was just me and Steve Lysett and others just poking and prodding and getting Knights in. And it was flag Knights in the end, but still.
But you guys took away the outrun flag, man. Like
Yeah,
him at gone.
well, he was still in there. Wasn't he still in there for the outrun cause?
Yeah.
No.
I think.
Oh, for the volleyball.
Wasn't that
for
still
tennis?
flag man?
Yeah.
There
No, I
was an
remember
out-
when when a trailer came out, and I think I was like the first or second person to post in a screen grab of Knights, and that alone I think got me at least 50 rep points on the Sonic Stadium. That game probably pushed me over 1,000 because every time a trailer would come out, I'd just comb through it, post screenshots up immediately, and I'd just get all the thumbs up. It was great. It was like
That was your favorite moment of being Barry?
it feeds my my need for acceptance and liking.
Especially in the
wanted-
Sonic community. You do one thing wrong, you're hated for life.
Oh yeah, no,
Tell me
I've got
about it.
something planned next year that's gonna make people hate me.
You just start posting about how Sonic Heroes is the best Sonic game ever?
Oh, I'm getting a full body tattoo of Silver the Hedgehog.
Oh, that's gonna be nice. Can't wait.
It's gonna be nice.
Your girlfriend's gonna like it.
Oh, wife.
Your wife, sorry.
But
Yeah, you should actually get yourself tattooed as him. As in, you could just go all silver with gloves and stuff.
well, speaking of Silver characters, how about Platinum Games not being an exclusive and working on Metal Gear Rising or whatever it's called now?
Metal
With,
Gear Rising Revengeance or something.
With
Revengeance.
Snake's version of Silver the Hedgehog or Shadow.
Yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah. This is Shadow the Hedgehog of.
What do
the
you
Metal
think,
Gear
Ryan?
franchise.
Ryan is really opinionated about this, actually. I mean, Sharky is.
I think he should go off on it right now.
Go.
No, I'm not even that bothered. No, I don't care. I was annoyed at first.
The
'cause
game
I
looks
thought
pretty
you
good,
said-
right? I'm gonna buy it for you when it comes out, dude. I'm gonna mail it to you.
If you're gonna buy it for me, whatever. I'm not saying it was bad. I was just thinking that this was like the replacement for Bayonetta 2, and that was making my nose bleed. But it isn't, so that's all right. Maybe we'll still get Bayonetta 2, and I'll be happy.
What about you, Barry? You care that they're expanding? You said it made you want to vomit. Barry's gone.
He's vomiting.
He's one missing. Kevin, does it matter? Do you even like do any community things for Platinum Games?
I did community for everything.
Everything.
Absolutely everything.
Hired you. That's what I've been told. Like you were
Everything.
Like,
That's one of the reasons I left.
oh,
Because it was ridiculous. I mean, I think I did that. To me, it feels and looks more not necessarily Bayonetta, but it feels like Vanquish with a sword.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it kind of
Yeah.
looks like the color, the way they use the colors. I was kind of excited when I first saw it, but I'm a little more excited knowing that Platinum Games is actually developing it.
True.
It's good. Like Sharky, I was horrified initially, but mainly because it was okay. Then they're working on this, and then that means they're not working on stuff that's like Bayonetta 2,
Right.
which is big. I think I tweeted something similar to that effect, i.e., the amount of people that are outraged that it was Platinum Games working on it. Is equal to the amount of people outraged that Platinum Games is working on it because it's not Bayonetta 2.
Yeah.
So
I saw more hate online for the fact that they said the trailer looked shitty, and they also said that Platinum Games was a shitty developer. That's what
you know,
some
a lot of
said.
people were saying about Bayonetta in a negative way. How
I
can
don't
you
get
say
that.
be negative about Bayonetta? It
I
was
She's
like
too
Game
sexual.
of the Year.
It's too sexy, Kevin. You don't understand. It's too sexy.
It
You guys at
sexifies
Sega, you
women.
guys are perverted. You guys can't have sexy characters in games. Women can't be sexy. Only men can be sexy in games. I think we've gone over this in the podcast.
I
It's
want to
very
see.
strange.
I want to
It
see.
is
But
strange.
No, go on.
yeah, it's very strange. But Kevin, you wouldn't believe the strange people that we had on our site when Bayonetta came out. That we had like a few members of the forum that just went crazy strange about how Bayonetta is
Insane.
sexually and terrible and demented and perverted and all sorts. And there's so many people. We banned like 2 people because they just wouldn't let it go.
I mean,
Well,
yeah.
in fairness, she is sort of demonic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So she's hardly pure as the driven snow.
Yeah.
I
But
found
like, they're saying she showed too much skin. She was like, it was bad
Oh,
for women.
the big thing was that how she took off all her clothes when she
Right.
did the move, which was, well, actually her clothes are made from her hair, and you don't see anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's like they didn't understand the fact that it's supposed to make you feel something. Like the point of her being so sexualized was supposed to make you feel that way. Like it's kind of naughty. Like that's what it's supposed to. I think it did what it was supposed to do. I think some people couldn't take it. Like
what I
I,
found.
Well, let's put it this way, her prop of choice was a lollipop, which she sucked on. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't need much in the way of visualization aids other than that.
Yeah.
I mean, but going on in a slightly different direction from this, am I right in reading earlier that they've gone and delayed
yes, you could actually say that.
Anarchy Reigns?
I did put that in the notes because I did them yesterday. But Platinum Games delayed Anarchy Reigns for July. I think the
That's
press
big.
release said, but I don't think they posted this on the site. But I guess it's gonna be bigger and better. They said on the press release.
I'll take that. Maybe if they're upping
Yeah.
the story mode. Maybe this is like Sonic 4 Episode 1 where they just thought something wasn't working, so they delayed it for 6 months.
The amount of story that there appears to be in that game has really surprised me.
How much?
Really?
Well, at least from the trailer so far, because you
Oh.
would have thought it'd been something quite a very simple
Yeah.
story just to piece it all together. But they do seem to have gone in. They seem to go in depth into the characters' backgrounds, and with fairness, it's the Japanese trailers that show this a lot better. If you get the
Mhm.
opportunity, look up the Japanese trailers, which are a lot longer. You won't necessarily know what's going on, but there's a heck of a lot of cutscene material. It's about 2 or 3 times as long as the US European ones, and it's going into the background of Jack, and who he was and who he is now, and a lot of the other characters as well. But the thing I'm thinking this is going to lead into, we'll end up with Raiden and Solid Snake as characters in.
Oh shit!
I think they'll be. I think Konami would be all up for it. I've noticed that Sega is not as willing to do stuff with other like companies because I've seen some stuff about like the Tekken guys. They want to
Yeah.
do a Tekken versus Virtual Fighter. They'd be up for it.
That'd be
AM2
awesome.
doesn't seem like they'd probably be up for it. Like I
Yeah,
never
but
hear
I
anything
don't.
from.
This is the same AM2 who, when asked about the Virtual Fighter being ported over here, they just went no.
They're all, no, they didn't even.
I don't remember that way back, but everyone was pestering. There was the big campaign, and we went to AM2. We asked. So there's a lot of people. There's a lot of demand over here. It's like, is there any plans? No.
Who? Erica? No.
No. Is there anything at all? No. We're not planning to do anything.
But they announced finally PSN all the way to summer. I'm glad. I think Sega's been getting better with those campaigns. They got Daytona USA doing Virtual Fighter 5. Now they just need Shenmue 3, and everybody will be on another Jet Set Radio in the skies of Arcadia.
All they need is about $110 million, and that's going to become a reality.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
She'll play the Blotto. You want to? Well, we talked about that. Anybody want to say anything else about Platinum Games and their disgraceful Metal Gear Solid video game coming out?
As long as they make more Sega games in the future, I'm happy.
All right.
So long as they make Bayonetta 2, I'm happy.
Yeah, Will, here's a question. Did any of the Platinum games make money?
That's actually a very good question. I think
because even before they became Platinum Games and they were Clover, the titles that they did, they were very good titles that were thought of very highly, but they didn't make any money. And ironically, that's very Sega. The ones that people love the most, with the exception of Sonic, are the ones that never made dime.
The fails.
I think Bayonetta did over $1 million, but I'm pretty sure it was heavily discounted before it did that. And I think Vanquish did a little under 800,000 units.
Well, I doubt Vanquish made money.
Yeah, I doubt
it.
It's
a big shame. The question is whether or not Bayonetta made money, because that was the big one.
Yeah.
But Bayonetta was on Sega Japan's financial report as a big seller. So I assume it must have been good enough to sell some copies.
Yeah.
It's no Call of Duty or anything, but
no.
Nothing much is anymore.
Thank goodness for that.
Yeah.
Should we move on to?
Yeah, we should move on to Christmas nights.
Because Christmas is coming.
I can only give it an A+, dude.
It deserves it.
The graphics are kind of crap.
It's Saturn.
What's a Saturn, dude? I never heard of it. Oh, by the way, I got a job at SEGA Europe.
Oh, really?
So I don't know what a Saturn is anymore. They're not allowed to talk about it.
No, do you?
I'll sit you down later and explain it.
Sit me down with the Sega Saturn and let me play it. I'm just like, this is no HD graphics. Why would I want to play this? Where's the achievements?
Well, Christmas Nights is in widescreen, if that does anything for you.
It gives me an erection. That's about it.
All right, well, that's good enough. That's worth an A+.
No, yeah, I played it a long time ago when I had a Saturn. I love the whole Knights franchise. There's something simple yet very hard about it.
Yeah.
It's very Sonic Team used to be like, I guess you could say.
Well, that's the reasons I keep it.
Best fan base that I've ever had to deal with.
Really?
Yeah. Massively long way.
Why? Because they don't all complain about everything. They get a Journey.
They complained a bit after Journey of Dreams, and
I don't blame them.
So, but they're just. I don't know. There's something about the attitude about Knights fans that it's very different, and it's
passionate.
It's more connected on a different level. I think maybe because of the subject matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. They've got more of a hippie kind of flair to them.
What do you mean?
I see what you mean by that.
Kind of like being in touch with their dreams.
Distinct attitude difference between them and pretty much any other group of fans I've.
Because you look at Sonic Retro, or at least even Sonic fans in general, and a lot of it's about physics and momentum and gameplay. I think Knights fans, the difference with them is they're a lot more about the story, and they're a lot more about the visuals and the designs, and their fan art community is crazy big. So yeah, that's what I was trying to say, I think.
Who's the worst fan base to deal with?
Sonic
Burning
fans.
Rangers?
Oh.
Who's Sonic?
Well, all five of them.
All What's the 5 fan bases? Shimmy, I'm assuming.
No, I was talking about the Burning Rangers, like all 5 fans of Burning Rangers.
Well, they'll burn Sega headquarters down if they don't get a game.
Probably Sonic.
Oh yeah, they're horrible.
Just because the amount,
the
amount of masters that you have to serve for it, and
Right.
it's a no-win situation.
Yeah. And then you got the Big the Cat fans like me and Sharky who were trying to get up.
I'm a
When
huge
Sega makes a Big the Cat game, that's when Sonic will be fixed.
Yeah.
Honestly, Big the Cat was the best character added to that series ever, because he wasn't just a clone of Sonic. He didn't even look like Sonic. He was fat and different. He was the best character. I stand by it.
Even though Takashi Iizuka himself apologized.
He's like Jar Jar Binks. He's exciting.
He's a great character.
Like,
I don't want to play as him.
Takashi Iizuka apologized for Big the Cat Summer.
That's awful.
I would have booed him off stage. I would have been like, "Boo, sir!"
He got a deafening cheer.
Yeah, no, I agree. Big has a great design. It's definitely different from anything. Like when you see Sonic, you can't imagine what a fat, large character would look like in the animal style. But Big actually, he's got the belt and the sandals, and he's got a frog that he hangs out with, which is pretty cool.
He was the best character.
Big is that he isn't fast. Well, if everyone in Sonic's universe is fast, that doesn't make Sonic any way more special, does it? Really?
No.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to play as Big. I never want to play as him again. But he was actually a character that had a personality.
He looks funny. He looks funny. He looks funny in Sega All Star Racing with a little bike.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Well,
go on. We're not even talking about Christmas nights, by the way.
Oh yeah, I think we're done with Christmas nights. But I was going to say, with Sonic Adventure, did anyone ever download the Christmas tree that was in Station Square?
Yeah, I also downloaded the Dreamcast thing and
that took over like an entire memory card just to see a Christmas tree and to hear Christmas night or.
I begged them to add that into the adventure and
the re-release.
The re-release, yeah. Did that get in? I don't think it did it?
No.
Oh, why?
It's pretty.
Damn it! Why?
It's I love that little thing. I thought it was awesome. Like you could download something and it changes while you're playing or whatever.
Yeah, there was the Christmas tree, and Sonic Adventure 2 had the Christmas costumes for the two.
And the Halloween stuff as well.
PSO had a tree.
And PSO, yeah. No. Sonic Adventure 2 had a PSO suit that you could put on Sonic.
If and when that comes out, and I can only assume that it will, that Sonic Adventure 2. Those have to be in.
Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Quick, someone get on to Christian and get him to develop.
The Opa card.
But going back to Christmas nights, you got an A+. Tell you one thing that didn't get an A+, and that was the voiceover woman.
That was pretty bad.
At the beginning and the end, giving you the story, who has about
it's Christmas time again in Twin Cities.
She's
That's far too much emotion.
We should do. I want to do a documentary on her, like her life. She's the most depressing person ever.
All right. Well, besides that, I think it gets an A+. If only
Kevin.
Well, go on.
Kevin, did you have much to do with the Knight's Journey of Dreams? Were you involved with that at all?
That was mine. That was That was probably the first Sega game that I did that I actually had a lot of say, because from a brand point of view, it just went along and it was a game release, whereas I was going well, there's fans there. They threw a lot of stuff at me in the end, SOE, which is why I went on a plane way back when up to Edinburgh to see Trippy and Digi.
I saw pictures.
Game to them.
Dude, they have so much night stuff. I didn't even know that much stuff existed. It was scary.
They got a hell of a lot of stuff from me. Digi was ill at the time. He literally dragged himself out of his sick bed to come and see me. And when they were playing the game, he sort of like slumped on the bed. And I opened my bag and just started bringing out all this Sega, Sonic, and Knights merch, and I semi-buried him. There's a photo somewhere of Digi just like completely.
I imagine you be
arms out, almost arms out, is sort of just like skyward, sort of thanking God.
I imagine it being like
being
the
alive that
Make-A-Wish,
long to actually play it.
the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Did you videotape it where he was like,
Yes.
"Thank Knights is my favourite game." Well, that's very good, little boy. I want some toys. Did that happen? Thank you.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, ironically, Sega sent me off with a Dev Wii to play the game, and the Dev Wii was broken.
Ah,
So I dragged this Wii all the way from. The Dev Wii's a heavy thing, and it didn't work. But luckily, for some reason, the game that shouldn't have worked on the normal Wii did work on the normal Wii. So
well, there you go. And then they copied it when you weren't looking, and
no. Although they got a nice sealed copy. I think they got their copy before anyone else anyway. So
cool. So how
did they yell at you for it after they played it?
how do you feel about the game?
What I point out to them is that they really, really enjoyed it at the time. Since then, I think they've sort of gone, a bit. Well, this should have been like this, and it should have been like this, and this.
Nice.
And I agree to a certain extent.
I think
nice.
the game gets like really bashed, but as a critical critic score, it actually did pretty all right. It got I think the Metacritic is like 7 out of 10, which is pretty good. I mean, I think Sonic Generation was an 86 last time I checked. So critic overview was pretty all right for that game. I think fans were the ones that wanted the same thing as the first game.
Well, when that game was doing something really good, it was doing it amazing. Like some of the level designs and stuff were awesome. Like I really liked. There was one where you play a tune with like notes as you fly into them and you play the notes. That stuff like that was amazing. But at the same time, there was things like Knights talking, and it was just weird. It just his
It's one of those things. Like it's your Knights, the character that Knights was, and with the story that you had to sort of really put in there, you needed Knights to talk. I had no problem with Julissa's voice for Knights. I think it was very good, and it sort of fitted in with the character. In that you've got Sonic, who's the American character, and Izuka himself was saying how the Knights universe is very European, hence you've got the very Big Ben-esque clock. That clock was based on Big Ben, and Bellbridge is the place. That's a very London-esque place. So it makes sense that it would make sense that Knights' voice is English and not American.
That doesn't bother me at all. I'm English. I don't care about that. It's just that I always imagined him I'd never imagined him to have a voice. It's like he was always like a mysterious character or she or whatever it is. I don't know. It was always like a mysterious sort of
both.
Yeah.
It's actually surprising the end you get.
Yeah, I remember that.
So Barry, you gonna read some retro letters?
Yeah, this is a new feature. We're going to read some letters from the old Dreamcast magazines. Blast from the past.
It better be one about Shining Force 3.
I have something pretty close.
I would like to know where Shenmue 2 is.
It's just part 2?
Well, that last episode I actually read one where they said, is there going to be a Shenmue Chapter 2?
No.
So, but this one mentions Shenmue. There's 4 points. Person writes, this is Edwin Romero, Metallica999@hotmail.com.
Oh yeah, that's a screen name right there.
I'm gonna email him later.
Yeah, I was gonna say you should really email this guy and just see if it still exists.
Maybe we should do a contest where the first person to get a response from Edwin wins. Metallica999@hotmail.com writes, is it really true that Sega will be launching a whole new system called Dreamcast 2 that will be better than the PS2? And will also have DVD-ROM on it? We know the answer to that. The second question is, in case the Dreamcast 2 does come out, will the games for the first one be able to play on the second one? And what about the controls and stuff like that?
Oh yeah, I love the Dreamcast 2. That's my favorite console.
Dreamcast 2. I love how people assume that Sega would make a Dreamcast 2 as though it's in their history to create a 2 of a console. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you guys know about the All Star Racing thing with the Dreamcast too?
Yeah, Steven like joined, I think it was the Dreamcast scene or something, and they were talking about seriously porting like Sega All Stars Racing to the Dreamcast, and if it
When?
would be possible. They were just talking.
My story's different.
Okay, go on.
Finish off yours.
He just talked about how it would be done and like if it could be done and like all this other stuff. Yours is probably more interesting than a forum post.
I hadn't heard that one before. The story, my story is slightly different in that. Way back when we were going through the initial stuff, I'd suggested alternate carts for people, and one of the things that I wanted us to do was to do ones based on the consoles.
That would have been awesome.
Oh yeah.
So, but I also wanted it that you could then unlock upgrades, so that if you had like the Game Gear cart, you know, it'd be very nippy, but it wouldn't go around corners very quick, and it would lose power very quickly over time.
Yeah.
But you could then upgrade it with a TV tuner, or something like that. Like there'd be a white version and a black version of the Saturn one, or something like that.
And
But one of the things I
it.
very specifically wrote into this document that I did was that not only is there a Dreamcast cart, there is a Dreamcast 2 cart.
That would have been.
And it can never be unlocked.
Oh, I think we had.
There.
Yeah.
It just sits there, and it sits there in the thing, and it just doesn't exist. It's just a big in joke that it just doesn't. It's just not there, and you can never have it.
That would have been amazing.
Does Sega ever do something like that? Like, okay, we'll do it, or do they just go and look at you and say, "What the hell are you talking about? Why would we put this?"
They generally looked at me and went, "What the hell happened?" One of the few times that they looked at me and actually went, "Huh," and then went and did it was obviously the posters in City Escape, the Sonic Generations.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was cool. Thanks for getting that in there.
I consider that my crowning glory to actually get Mighty and Knack/Fang back into a game in some way. Ultimate victory. Right. But yeah, it's a few things on that. A few character suggestions here and there. They listened very well. They nodded and sort of went yes.
See, I always thought the consoles should have been the trophies, where there was like a Dreamcast Cup, and they would have the Dreamcast characters that you race against, and then there was like
that would have made logical sense, wouldn't it?
That would have made a lot of sense instead of the Chow Cup and the Graffiti Cup, and because I think I love the game, but I think the one downfall is that they should have crammed a lot more references in, even if it came down to like cheap billboards that had the Dreamcast logo on it. That would have been awesome.
The only one who thought that. That's
been
something I said.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of the things that I was saying was that you should be cramming references here, there, and everywhere into those sort of games.
The achievements were
It's
awesome.
a celebration of Sega. Then you're marketing it at big time Sega fans. Then why not just put in a billboard here that's a reference to something, or a throwback to another game? If you want to help populate it with mentions of other games that aren't even in this title, that aren't represented, that you can throw up. Put up a still or something of one of the like the original adverts for the consoles or something like that you would have from the 90s. I don't know.
Yeah,
this is why we're where we are and they are where they are, I guess.
They had a. Nah, never mind.
They had Ristar.
God, you didn't even put effort into that one. You're like, never mind.
I couldn't be bothered.
The best little nods were Knights as the flagman, Ristar in the Sonic CD track, or the, you know what I mean, Death Egg track, and then the achievement titles, which were all old Sega games. That was really cool.
Yeah, they missed an opportunity with the weapons, because everything was a bit just.
Oh my god, yeah. the weapons were a real letdown. It was like you had the green boxing gloves, which I think were from Super Monkey Ball,
Yes.
and then
Maybe.
a few Sonic things, but beyond that, it was like rockets. And the initial rockets were actually the fish from Sonic, and then they
Yeah,
took the
they
face
were
off of them.
chompers, weren't
Yeah, what I don't get why they couldn't have had like a weapon that threw Puyo Puyo and then had the screen fill with Puyo Puyo, you know?
Or have a drunken Santa Claus from Shinmu, and he just like talks to you.
That would have been awesome.
That would confuse kids.
Well, I'm gonna finish up my letters here real quick. The last bit this guy said was, "Do you guys like Shenmue? I played it and I didn't like it at all. I mean, it has great graphics and a good story too, but I think it's kind of slow. You guys shouldn't grade it more than a 7. Well, at least that's what I think." So again, that's Metallica999 at hotmail.com. You can send him tons of emails saying, "Why didn't you like Shenmue?"
Yeah, like 20 years ago, like 10 years ago.
He's gonna get like death threats now from that.
Oh, I can't wait.
Crazy.
It's gonna be great. I'm gonna go to jail.
Well, I mean, what does he know? He likes Metallica. In the end of the day.
Metallica
Whoa,
999.
whoa. What's wrong with you?
999-666 upside down.
Yeah, I know. You couldn't get the 66 one,
Yeah, he couldn't.
so he just got 99. He's like, I'll live with it.
And
It's not like nobody's gonna remember in 10 years anyway.
and since we have some European folks on here, I was going to read one from the Dreamcast magazine from Europe. This is issue 20. Someone
damn.
said, "When
Europe.
is
How
the
can you read that language?
When is the Dreamcast version of Duke Nukem coming out?"
What?
Which part of Europe is this?
I don't know. It's this new part that exists. "I'm totally amazed that this superior game has got a mention since the release of the Dreamcast. This game received a 97% rating on the Sega Saturn. Why are loyal customers kept waiting so long for quality games? Incidentally, Quake 3 Arena is crap. I don't care what anyone says."
Jesus, you have the most hateful letters this week. It's
Oh, I
like
know.
I don't give a shit what everybody says. You guys are stupid as fuck.
Well, this one's a little more upbeat. It says, "Until 4 years ago, I was a loyal follower of the PlayStation, but have now been converted to the Dreamcast. However, I have been reading lately is that the PlayStation 2 is going to beat all that oppose it. But in my opinion, that is complete and utter rubbish.
I guess he
The
was wrong.
The Dreamcast is a strong
Fool
competitor
him.
to the PlayStation 2, even though it wasn't planned to be. During the last week, a lot of my friends have told me that they cannot afford to buy the PlayStation 2, so I have said to them, buy a Dreamcast instead. There are more games, and you can go on the internet with it. If anyone wants the PlayStation 2 simply for DVD, then buy a DVD player. Thanks for the great mag. Keep it up." And that's from Daz.
The problem was that the DVD player was on the PS2 was cheaper than buying just
an
DVD
actual,
player. So.
yeah.
Yeah. That's why I bought a PS2, was for a DVD player.
How is Barry? How is Daz spelled?
DAZ.
A single, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so I was right. There is a Daz in the Sonic community, but that's double Z. So
You think it's him?
I wondered.
You wanted it to be him.
It
Well,
would
you
have been nice, and also he speaks exactly like the way Barry did it. So.
Hello. I think your game is rubbish.
By the way, Quake 3 Arena's crap.
I think it's rubbish.
Oh yeah, I guess I should just announce it. We're giving away 4 copies of Xbox Live Arcade, the Xbox Live Arcade version of Sonic CD.
Toot toot.
Woo!
So I guess just email us or contact us. Tell us 2 things you hate about Sharky, and we'll give you whoever gives the best one. We'll give
And what's our
Just 2.
what's our email address?
Do you think they can narrow it down to just? I know there's a lot of people in the community that really, really, really hate me.
Yeah, they do hate him. Sega
Make it 5.
SEGABits at gmail.com. You
They
can
should also say why they hate Shenmue.
No, just Sharky. Good enough. I'll post the best ones, I guess.
That sounds good.
I didn't know we were giving this away. I probably shouldn't have said how much I don't really like Sega CD, Sonic CD even.
Well, there you go. No, it's an easy one. Usually people do stuff like send a video. I just want people to make fun of Sharky.
I hate contests where you have to do a lot of effort, and it's just not worth it.
Yeah, especially when it's like, I don't know, like I don't follow the Sega. Does any Sega fan follow the Sega Twitter thing, like the contest?
I can't follow that. I don't get it.
Because I only tried when, like, I think they were giving out something for Panzer Dragoon that was big. I forgot already. It was like a statue, I think.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Are you talking about Free Stuff Friday?
Yeah.
My girlfriend does that every single week.
Oh, she does.
She's done it since the start every week, and she's won nothing.
There you go. I only tried it once. I didn't win. Some guy like called Waluigi in 64 won.
Nice.
I'm like, I'm sure he'll love his Panzer Dragoon statue.
It ended up on eBay an hour later, right?
Yeah, I'm sure he did. He even spelled Panzer Dragoon wrong when they retweeted that he won.
Oh shit.
I was just like, oh, fuck.
That's why they should send all the good stuff to us because we put all the effort in.
No, they should send the good stuff to me so I won't have to whine about it on the podcast.
That works.
Crying like a little bitch.
Well, I won one of those real Suzuki forklifts in a contest.
Yeah, you showed me.
I remember that.
You did a nice pictorial.
Yeah, it's
Kind of naughty.
It's a little risque. He's picking up chicks with it, carrying them around.
Oh yeah, I should probably do the community questions real quick because we're running kind of late anyway.
We got some good ones.
Carlos did the best one, so I'm just gonna read Carlos because usually other people do like sometimes it'll be sexy questions. I'm good. I got he's got a couple of questions. Do you guys think that the world is ready for a new Golden Axe title after the Beast Rider fiasco? I don't think. I think that's the problem with Beast Riders. Was that nobody knows about it because it just like so crap that nobody cared about it. Nobody played it.
If it had been called something else other than Golden Axe, it might have been okay.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. I guess. Well, I just think the game had way more things wrong with it than just being Golden Axe. I think being developed by Secret Level was one thing.
Yeah.
I've got to admit, I actually really enjoyed Golden Axe Beast Rider.
But you can see the faults though. It's one of those games that you either like it.
Oh
or you
God,
don't.
yeah. It's really annoying it's really annoying at the beginning. Once you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Late on early, right at the end when you're at the credits, it's brilliant.
Yeah. Once it's over, wow.
Actually, no, I quite like the Death Adder battle. That was really nice.
Sega America already said they're actually working on what did they say? What was the thing? The job listing?
All right.
Was it? What was it worded, Barry? I forgot how they were.
Oh, it was like rebooting or reinventing a classic Sega franchise.
There you go.
I'll bet it's either
won't be
that
Golden Axe.
or Streets of Rage.
Hopefully it's not Streets of Rage.
We've already had Shinobi. They can't
Well-
be reinventing it already.
That's true.
Golden Axe should have gone to Creative Assembly because they did that Viking. game, which
Vikings.
was pretty good.
Great. I liked Viking actually.
I did too.
I liked it a lot. I bought it I only bought it because that game dropped to $40 like 2 months after it came out.
Uh-huh.
So I bought it and I was really, really shocked that it was good.
It's fun.
What was the one before Viking? Because Viking was
Spartan.
was it Spartan? Spartan
Yeah.
Total Warrior, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't like Spartan. I liked Viking. Didn't much like Spartan.
It's
I'm
obviously
completely
not a
stuck
perfect
on
game.
Spartan.
We should have a Viking convention.
People just dress like Vikings. And
Yeah, and we talk about the game and how there should be a sequel.
That'd be.
I remember.
Are you gonna start the
Viking came
weirdest
out-
fan base ever? Like
That would be awesome. VikingFans.com.
When the
Don't-
Viking game came out, they had SEGA Europe had a community event where they took him to a bar or something. I remember.
and they got drunk. Yeah.
Yeah.
Should Sega use the free-to-play model from Spiral Knights and apply it to franchises such as Phantasy Star Online?
No.
Yes.
No.
Well, in my world, I think having a certain I don't know how to say this, a certain like you could come and play like a few, up to a certain level is needed for a game like that, because if you want to go higher and get new stuff, you could just pay the $10 a month like everybody else is gonna pay.
Right.
So I think having people that buy the game and like play just the free portions is not that bad.
My only issue is I remember in Fantasy Star, what is it, Universe, it was just people going, like, show me your penis and do you have boobs? That's
Yeah,
awesome.
and my favorite one. Hey, you think I can sit next to you and hold hands? No, you can't sit next to my character and hold hands. Sit somewhere else.
I mean, compare that to Fantasy Star Online, where everyone paid and got in there, and it was just like the best. It was the best time I ever had on the Dreamcast. Was like 2 a.m. talking to Japanese fans in broken English.
Awesome. Yeah.
They would be like, "Dreamcast's so good," and you'd be like, "Yeah, fight, fight, fight," and they'd be like, "Yeah, yeah."
Because they'd be really excited. Yeah.
They get jazzed up, and then they're like, one of them was just like, "Ah," and he, like typing in Japanese, and he just ran into a room, just started killing things. It was great. And then there was this Brazilian guy who was like, "Must go feed baby," and he leaves. He just disappeared. His character goes motionless for 10 minutes. He comes back and he's like, "Baby fed, let's go," and he just starts running off.
Damn. Kevin, do you think a free-to-play model would be good for Phantasy Star Online too?
Not with where the game is at the moment.
No?
In all honesty, there's too much put behind it for a company like Sega, I think, to get away with free-to-play.
There's another problem too. Like, this is the problem I had with Universe. I don't know if anybody else had it, but like, I felt kind of cheated out because like I bought the game for like $50 when it came out on PC, and not only did I find out it had no DRM, which I didn't mind, but like the fact that they closed like 1/3, like 2/3 of the game and like unlocked it monthly, so they could keep on charging me $10 a month. That and like they would unlock planets after a while. That pissed me off.
What they might want to do is then maybe consider changing to it, but like 18 months after release or something like that.
I think the problem with Sonic Team, Sega, whatever, whoever does Phantasy Star Online too, or does content after its release, they got to put more content. Basically, like World of Warcraft gets huge updates.
Yeah.
Or it's obviously Phantasy Star is no World of Warcraft, but if they're charging you $10 a month, I expect some updates. I mean, with some content.
Right.
At least on time with the Japanese, because the Japanese were getting it all the time, but we were getting it like in small doses, trickling through a sock.
Isn't that what Aaron? Like Aaron Weber's a pretty big Phantasy Star fan. He's a big
Huge.
yeah. So I'm hoping that having
he's technically classified as a producer, isn't he? In some regards, I think.
Yeah, he's moved up the chain now, I think.
Okay.
No, I meant with regard to Phantasy Star.
Oh, I don't know.
In terms of the content afterwards or something, he was.
Well, I don't even really know because they did Phantasy Star Portable 2 actually. Well, I was gonna say they haven't been a big Phantasy Star game since everyone's been looking there. I mean, I think 2 is gonna be the biggest one. I think it's Universe. Then the biggest one is gonna be 2 because Phantasy Star 0 was pretty good for what it was on DS, but like I think the portable series are like what fans want. They're like waiting for the console version, which Online 2 has not been announced for consoles, but just be honest, we're all gonna see it's gonna come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let me just go to another question actually.
Is it sexy?
This one's not sexy, but do you guys ever feel awkward experiences buying games at a store? I've never felt one time, but like not because of me, because I noticed something. But this one time when I went to go this year, I went to go pick up Uncharted 3, and like how we always go on the internet and you always see all these people talking about sales.
Yeah.
Like I didn't think that existed in real life. I thought you go to real life and like people don't care, they just buy their game and they go home.
Yeah.
Well, I went to buy Uncharted 3, and this guy in front of me was taking forever because he was buying like 3 copies of it, and he kept on asking the GameStop manager how many copies they've sold and like all these like questions, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, who cares? Just buy your game, get the hell out of here.
That's messed up.
So I had to stand there awkwardly while the guy had to converse with his sales talk. And plus, I don't know why.
When I go into shops, I often find games that I like, and I sort of move them up into like iView.
Barry
People
does this
would buy
too.
them.
Yeah, I do that too.
No, you put all the Sonic games like in the front of Call of Duty games.
I made Sonic Generations take up an entire shelf on Black Friday when I went to Best Buy. I just covered up every single other game.
I do things like that as well. I remember we used to have like not a chain, but just like an individual store for just video games. And I got to know the guy really well, and I went in one day, and I sort of looked at his big collection of games on the shelf, and I just spent like an hour just rearranging all of them for the ones that I like the most. Got the prime time, and he was fine with it.
Were you wearing your helmet at the time, or
my special go anywhere
I'm fixing
helmet? Yes.
the games. That's what I'm doing.
Why do you sound all depressed?
I'm a big Sega fan.
Sounds all depressed. Sounds like you're all like, I don't want to admit that I'm a Sega fan, but I will.
Sonic's really fast, you know.
so have I ever felt awkward?
Yeah.
Uncomfortable? In the past few years, I have to go out. I don't have to, but I like to go out during my lunch hour and pick up games. And more often than not, it's been All Stars Racing or Generations. So I feel a little awkward, like going into, like Center City, Philadelphia, in my like work clothes, which is usually like a collared shirt and all this stuff. And I'm walking around these kids, and I'm like, I'd like Sonic Racing, I feel a little awkward then, but besides that, I'm good.
I feel awkward when my family sees my video game collection.
Yeah,
because like they see and they're like, "Where the fuck is Black Ops?" Like that's the first thing they come in the room and say. And I'm like, "I don't have that game." And they look at me like, "What the fuck?"
Most recently, I felt awkward when I was buying AM2's volleyball game for GameCube used for like $3. And there were these two, like very rare situation, there were these two women working the desk at GameStop.
Were they good-looking girls?
Yeah, even rarer, they were both good-looking. And so I felt really awkward buying, out of all the games in there, I'm buying a $3 one with like women in, like bikinis on the cover for GameCube. And I'm like, I'm buying it. I wanted to say it's AM2. That's why I'm buying it, but I didn't. So
because I think you're even weirder if you said that.
Because if I said it's not because I like girls, I mean I do, but I'm not buying it because of the girls. I'm buying it because it's Suzuki.
Yeah, he's so awesome.
And he's hot.
According to Cube, he got unhot when he got.
Not. I think Yuji Naka's hot, but not Yu Suzuki.
I always thought that he kind of looked like a pervert to me. Like I don't want to. I'm not insulting the guy. The guy's a great guy, obviously. And I just think like every time I seen him, like when I was younger, and I would see interviews with him, I always thought like, dude, I bet this guy has like a massive porn collection.
You're talking about Yu Suzuki or Yuji Naka?
Yuji Naka.
Naka, yeah. Doesn't the guy look?
Have you seen his? He wears orange socks and an orange tie. He's definitely.
But that was for Let's Tap and Let's Tap Alone.
We'll see. No,
that was a Let's Tap launch
Imagine
party that he was doing that, and I'd say he was rocking those.
He's got different coloured socks.
And he made orange ties and orange socks actually look good.
I agree.
He wears different colours every day, like a pink on Tuesday.
What happened to whatever happened to the Yuji Naka's team and their relationship with Sega? Like they just diminished after Let's Tap.
I don't know.
They've not released. Well, no, Sega didn't chose not to do Ivy the Key because Sega got first refusal.
Yeah,
any pro play title, and they didn't choose to pick up Ivy the Kiwi,
which I think was kind of a good thing because the game, well, it was a good, okay digital title, but like I thought it was for full console release, it was too much. Like it was too little for like, I mean, there was a lot of levels, but it was like the samey.
Yeah.
It's like it's not. They only released it for $25, but I don't think it was worth the $25.
We've yet to see the Sky Warrior game either.
That one got delayed, most likely. The Japanese publisher for like 2012. Yuji Naka did an interview where he said that like it's already done. They're just waiting to get published.
Because that looks awesome.
Does Sega get first refusal of that as well?
I hope.
I don't know. But presumably they did.
Yeah.
And they turned it down. It looks pretty good though. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I know it's odd. I'm not, maybe Sega thought they couldn't because of it's sort of very Knights-esque. So
Yeah.
I just wondered if it was shown to Sega and Sega just went, well, actually, it's sort of kind of similar to our own product. Therefore, if we actually put that out, then all we're going to get is people saying, why isn't this a Knights game?
Yeah.
Which, of course, was going to happen anyway.
Could be they're moving away from Wii titles and they want to focus on publishing Wii U.
I mean, the only other things that ProPlay have put out since have been sort of iPod, again, iOS titles. There's the new one, isn't it? The Piggy Bank.
Flick Pig.
Flick
yeah.
Pig. Fuck
I
Pig.
went onto the
Dick
iOS store last night and searched, and there are some really fucking weird probe titles out there. There's
Yeah.
There's
What
just
was there?
half where you cut things in half. There's the bear. The bear
I remember
needs
that.
to stand up. There's timer stop or whatever, time stop, where it's a running clock, and the game is that you stop the clock or press a button at certain times to collect interesting or unique times, like 11, 11, 11. And
Jesus.
it's like, and there are so many of them. It's almost like he wakes up in the morning and has a kernel of an idea, and instead of developing it, they make a 99-cent app about it. It's
You know what?
It's
He's
the
too
weirdest
busy.
thing.
He's too busy racing his Lotus Elise. This is the problem.
my- Wait, it's just, you should check it out. I think it's free, the time one. It's so weird because all the reviews are like, I guess it's a game.
I don't know. It's made by the guy that did Sonic.
Who's eating lunch and they're like, shit, 12-12-12's coming up. I better launch my game. And then you get 500 points and it's like, well, where do those go towards? It's the weirdest thing. It's like a game for people with
They like
with, like-
achievements. They like checking
No.
times.
no, it's a game for people with problems. You know what I mean? Like people are like, I always check the time.
I always check the time too, so I
Yeah,
guess
people
me.
with obsessive compulsive disorders, it's a
Yep.
game for them. So anyway.
He must have at one point. He just looked at his clock and it was like 2:22, and he went, "Oh, that's a game."
1, 2, it's 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 right now. That's 1,000 points because I checked.
If you got 11, 11, 11 on the 11th of November, how many points would that have given you?
I think he comes and visits
The
you.
world.
He comes-
Yeah,
He comes and
personally.
he puts on orange socks. He puts it on your feet.
I completed the Tap Runner game on iOS, and when I won, a little message came up with his signature, and it was like, "Congratulations, you won, Yuji Naka."
and you get his signature.
Yeah, and I screen grabbed it because it was the first time he sent me a letter. It was really nice.
you think that he personally typed that up for you?
I bet he got
It like rings up on his phone. And he's like, "Oh shit!" Better
via
type-
Wi-Fi. It's like, shit, someone actually won the game. Dear Barry,
Dear Barry, thanks for winning the game.
you're gonna love my next game. It's about stopping clocks at unique times. You might find the times a little quirky, such as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
He's
Oh, God.
the next question is let me see. Oh, actually, you were talking about this already, but do you guys think Sega will support the Wii in 2012, or I don't think they will.
I don't think so.
I think just like the GameCube, that the Wii is gonna like drop off unless they're gonna make like Wii games that are compatible with Wii U. You know what I mean? It's like if they make a game where like you could play it on your Wii and it'll be like, you know, Wii standard stuff like graphics and it won't be HD, and then when you put it in your Wii U, it's the same game but in HD. You know.
Yeah.
I could see them doing something like that, but then I think that would like confuse the consumer even more. That like, what the hell is the Wii U? Is that a new console, or is that a new like slimmer version of the Wii?
Yeah, I can't see
Like,
them doing
I can see them developing a game for the Wii and then pushing it back so that it goes on to the Wii U.
Yeah, I
see
can
them
see
doing
that. I could see Sega just moving on already. I could see. I'm not saying that the rumor that TSSZ posted about Sonic Dimensions is true, but I think it just makes sense that they would be obviously doing a Sonic title on it.
Do you think it's real,
Of
Kevin?
course, easy way to answer this are they developing a Sonic title for the Wii U? Yes,
Obviously.
because Sega, as a rule, gets in bed at the beginning, and it's actually whether you like it or not, it's a very good strategy in terms of keeping all the publishers happy.
I
Is
agree.
that they get in with anytime there's a new technology or anytime there's a new console, they make sure they get in there as quickly as they can, get the stuff from the companies as quickly as they can. That's why Sega were one of the first people to get on board with Connect, which is why you've got
Rise of Nightmares.
Rise Nightmares and Free Riders.
Yeah.
And Virtua Tennis 4 compatibility.
Which is weird because they announced it only as a Move compatibility. I think, and then they added.
Yeah, but Sega make sure they get in there and that they are a launch partner. It's one of them.
Mhm.
So of course they're going to support the Wii U with Sonic. It would make no sense for them not to.
Another question: why every time that Sega's like, okay, new console's out, all right, let's put Super Monkey Ball on that bitch? Like, why do they always do that? Like, they're just like, oh yeah, it looks nice, 3D, that's cool. Super Monkey Ball's perfect for that console.
Super Monkey.
Yeah, like, is it just cheap to make Super Monkey Ball games?
It's gotta be.
Yeah, I think they already got the thing.
I think it's the studio are very happy to make them.
Okay, and Sega's like, go ahead.
In all honesty, they seem they're very open and happy and doing stuff. But yeah, I don't know what's happened because there's a big gap, wasn't there, between Super Monkey Ball games, and then all of a sudden we've had this massive glut.
Yeah.
Of what appears to be one every 5 minutes.
I think it's on every console.
There's one coming on Vita. There's one on 3DS. There's one on the DS. There's I think there's not one on PS3. That's the only one, and Xbox Live Arcade.
Though the Deluxe is
do?
backwards compatible.
Well, it's not really a re-release, which makes no
not.
sense. Like, I just wanted one on the PSN that's like good, like doesn't have like stupid gimmicks.
Yeah, the best one I've played recently is the Super Monkey Ball 2 on the iPod because there are no gimmicks and there's no hand-holding when it comes to the railings and stuff. It's actually a really good game for those who like the first release.
Sharky.
That's what I gotta say. He's sleeping.
Yeah, he's sleeping. He already masturbated. He's going to bed. We probably should close on the podcast on that disgusting image.
That's something people can write about.
Yeah, they can write about it. He's always masturbating.
What, SEGABits@gmail.com.
Yeah, write us if you want to win a copy of Sonic CD. We have 4 to give away on Xbox. Maybe next time we do a podcast, I'll give some away for PSN since it's not up yet on PSN.
Nice.
It's delayed a week. All right, that's it.
So let's thank George.
And why do you always have to thank me?
Come on.
Yeah,
Let's
you're
thank
right. I love being thanked. That's one of my favorite things.
Sleeping Sharky.
And Kevin?
Hey,
Yes.
nice to be on the podcast, guys.
Yeah, thanks for chatting with us.
Yeah, no problem.
I should probably close it up. No, it's closed.
That's it.
That's it? Yep.